everyone, Jordan here, and today we have a new Minecraft video. Today, we're showcasing a British Airways Airbus A350-1000 in their current Union Jack livery. I'm really excited to show this one off as it's the first time we have an A350 on the channel, so without further ado, let's just get started right now. To begin, this livery was painted by Mateo. He did a great job with this, and as I mentioned just a few seconds ago, this is the first time we're showing the A350 on this channel. So it's a very modern airplane, it's a great airplane, and British Airways are using their A350s to supplement and replace some of their 777s on some of their long distance routes around the world, such as flying to San Diego and whatnot. Anyways, we can start the tour of this livery and showcase at the nose of the airplane. As you can see, the not the 787, but similar to it, the A350 has a very modern cockpit design. It's very flush with the fuselage in the nose, as opposed to more traditional or older airframes like the 777. We have the nose, we have the pedostatic system with a lot of antennas. We have the nose landing gear right here, and then we have British Airways written out with a little design for British Airways at the forward door with a gradient. We also have the One World sticker, and then we also have a little logo that has it states "to fly to serve" for British Airways, and then we have the L2 door right here. As we move towards the wing, we have the Rolls-Royce, not the RB211, the Trent XWB engines, which were derived from the RB211 over a few generations. But anyways, we have the wing design right here. These are some fantastic engines. They did have a little bit of reliability issues with Rolls-Royce, but they seemingly are getting a lot better. And these are, again, outstanding engines. They've been very great for the A350. They're also featured on the A330neo. So yes, great engines. Under the wing, we have the flapjack fairings, and then we have the wing tips with the Union Jack logo kind of put onto the tail right there. Well, the Union Jack flag right here. And then we have some of the lights, as well as the triple bogey landing gear. Now, the A350-1000 is different than the 900 because the 900 has a quad landing gear setup, but this is a it's a triple bogey setup. So you can see this over in the distance where it's only 4 wheels for one set, where this is 6. So this is because the A350-1000 is heavier, and this allows it to have a higher max takeoff and landing weight. And Airbus did a little bit of an interesting thing with the A350-1000. It actually has an increased range over the A350-900, which is usually not how it goes. When an aircraft manufacturer stretches or makes a larger version of the aircraft, oftentimes it does hurt the range and performance. I mean, granted, it will have a higher payload capacity, but it won't fly as far, which is, as an example, the 777-300ER does not have the range of the 777-200LR, despite them essentially being just derived from the same base. But Airbus kind of mucked that trend, or bucked it, and they made the A350-1000 have an even greater range than the A350-900, which is why you're seeing the 350-1000 being used on the upcoming Qantas Project Sunrise ultra long haul routes, and how Cathay Pacific are able to fly their A350-1000s on obscenely long routes, such as Hong Kong to Chicago. But I digress. Anyways, we can move onwards towards the rear of the airplane. We have the L3 doors right here, and then we have the empennage, which is the L4 door here. We also have the registration and some other details. We have the Union Jack flag on the tail over here, the auxiliary power unit exhaust towards the rear, and on the right side of the airplane we have the cargo bay. Now we also have another bulk or cargo bay right here on the left side of the airplane, but we have one here on the right. We have the landing gear doors, and then we also have the forward cargo bay with the British Airways logo, the "to fly to serve" logo, as well as the Union Jack kind of a waving flag symbol at the nose. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for the exterior. Also, before I forget, British Airways writes ship numbers or things and registrations on the roof of their airplanes right here, just so if you're a ground crew, you can just look over and see what airplane it is. So just for some efficiency. But anyways, if we get on board this aircraft, we can start the tour of the interior of this airplane. It's very nice. This is the L1R1 entry door, which isn't used all that common. It's more for the business class passengers. We have the forward lavatories. We have a cockpit door right here, galley for the flight crew. We have a bulkhead, and this right here is the Club World seating. Now, British Airways kind of alternates it, as you can see. So they're not perfectly side by side. This person has an individual seat over here, whereas this person is like a slightly different. So you're not looking dead, next to your seatmate, but this is the Club World seating up front. Next, we have World Traveler Plus, which is an extension, which is kind of their premium economy options. And then it just goes down to regular economy of World Traveler. So on the A350 for British Airways, there's a 219 World Traveler seats, 56 World Traveler Plus, and then 56 Business Club World seating at the front of the airplane. So yes, just very, very nice. Matteo did a great job again with this cabin. Here is the L2R2. We have lavatories. This is where most people would board from on this airplane. If you go to the rear of the aircraft, you can see what the rear galley looks like here. This is where the flight crew do a lot of their work and whatnot. It's quite large, quite large. If you remember from the L1011 video that I made about a few weeks ago, I mentioned in that airplanes like the L1011 and the DC-10 often came with a lower level where you could take a mini elevator to go down and have your workspace, but that's not really a thing on the A350. More modern airplanes don't really do that. They just kind of work with the space that they're given. So it's just kind of fascinating seeing how that is. And that's for a multitude of reasons, as you can maximize the cargo capacity that you can take, and you're also not really losing that much floor space, since that you can still do all of your work in the galleys that are provided here. But lastly, we can go to the front of the aircraft and we could take a tour in the Airbus A350 flight deck. It's a very modern cockpit. We have the captain's seat, the first officer seat. We have some rudder pedals down here. We have the side sticks for the pilots to control the aircraft. We also have a little flight engineer station. Now, a flight engineer isn't needed on an A350, but it's just a little workstation that someone else can sit at. And there's a jump seat behind, as well as there's a jump seat over here. Here's the overhead panel. Here's the main panel and whatnot. So yeah, again, unfortunately, in this 2-to-1 scale, we don't have a ton of space to put things in, but this is what we have for right now. But that's just about everything that we have for this Airbus A350-1000. Again, this is a fascinating airplane. I've had the opportunity to fly on an A350-1000 for about, 15 hours. It was very comfortable, and I think it's a great airplane. It comes with a camera and all, so great airplane if you're given the opportunity to fly on one. But once again, great livery from Matteo. If you made it this far, don't be afraid to let me know in the comments. And if you have any suggestions for future airplanes or builds you'd like to see, let me know as well in the comment section below. If you'd like to join our Discord server to see previews of what we're working on, or interact with us, ask questions, or post your builds and talk about aviation, we have a link to that also in the description too. Anyways, that's all I have for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Jordan, and I will see you in the next episode.